Chimafidi non kotu era one radio. Samupe jumpe bietia. Chimafidi non kotu era one radio. Oh, ayumpankuma. Chintu asampankuma. Chintu agratumkuma. Era one, lebo numpankuma.
They are four women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real in common getting. In common biaye says chain, the asentakre no assume the real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and on Taibo channel. Kaise, so we see the real in common getting ya. What brabon tete, we nyan konkonsa, we the real in common getting.
Hello, good evening, Era One Radio listeners and viewers all over the world. It's another Saturday, the 9th day of May 2026, the day that precedes Mother's Day. So, on behalf of all of us in Era One, we want to wish all the mothers early Mother's Day celebration or greetings. What you do for the nation, the world, and children cannot be overemphasized. So, we want to wish you a very, very happy Mother's Day. All right. Well, it's another health day. This is the Health is Wealth Show. Protect It. That is the health wing of the Era One network. On behalf of our studio manager, Dr. Setutu, and all of us, we bring you greetings. It's 5:27 Eastern time in the US. I believe it's about 4 plus. That is 9:27 in Ghana. Australia might be a different time. Wherever you are, we bring you greetings, Dr. Ernesto Pokajima and myself. Tonight, we are here to do a very short, a quickie. And when I say a quickie, the men's mind are going crazy because they know what it means to say quickie. We are having a very short discussion here. Actually, wanted to have the CEO of Era One here tonight to have a discussion, but it's been very busy. So we'll have that next week. But tonight, we are discussing mental health. Unfortunately, when we see people walking in the street, we think everybody is normal. Not everybody is normal. Sometimes you see people who are just talking because they are stressed or they're having problems at home, at work, or wherever. Everybody has some level of madness in their system. So we're talking about mental health, but we'll know the angle we're going to take it from. Dr. Ernesto Pokajima is here. Within the 30 minutes, he's going to give us some elaborate illustration. I'll be here to ponder him with questions, and then we'll take it from here. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and also on Modern Ghana Radio. If you want to join us, the best way is to text 510-931-0946 or go to Facebook or YouTube. Just put in your comments and I'll be here to read all your questions or your suggestions. Join us, join the link, share the link to your friends, your enemies, and let's all enjoy this study or discussion. All right, let me take a quote from what I read online about mental health in Ghana, and then Dr. Pokajima will take over. So this says that mental health in Ghana is a growing crisis with approximately 13% of the 30 plus million population suffering from mental disorders, ranging from moderate to severe amidst limited resources. Key issues include a more than 98% treatment gap, extreme social stigma, and high prevalence of substance abuse and depression. All right, so it goes on to say that while the 2012 Mental Health Act exists to promote care, only 1.4% of health budgets are allocated to mental health. Wow, only 1.4% is allocated to mental health. All right, so let's go to Dr. Pokajima and let's tax him with a few questions. Okay, Doc, when we say mental health, what does that mean?
In real sense, mental health is anything that does not allow anyone to be more focused on what he's doing.
Okay.
When you look at it can never be defined as I don't know whether they call it sickness or illness, but it's a kind of chronic illnesses that normally do not have any good treatment. You have to be on medication for a longer time. So it has a lot of syndromes, a lot of them. We have something related to birth, something related to behavior, something related to stresses, and all kinds of other minor things that composed of the causes of these mental illnesses. So we are going to base our discussion this afternoon on what the CDC has come out with. CDC mentioned that public mental health needs focus on a population level approach to promote well-being, to prevent disorders, and ensure equitable access to care. When you look at the key requirements, it includes the addressing of the social determinants, which are poverty,
C'est mon père, ça me fait bien tiens, tu me fais.
All right, I apologize. I think the system got glitched a little bit. So, Prof, sorry, go ahead.
Let me begin the whole thing about the mental health. In fact, we are going to talk about the mental health in the population. And then, as Dr. Boyson just said, when you look at Ghana, we are told that about 13% of the people are diagnosed with mental health. I think that is an iceberg of the issue in the country. But today, we are going to talk about the population, the epidemiological aspect of it in the system, not the clinical aspect. So I want all of us to pay attention to some of the information that I want to pass it across. It is not from my mind, it is from the outcome of the studies that CDC has compiled. And I'm going to use some of the detailed information from CDC to help us to understand the distribution of mental health in the population. In fact, when mental health, we talked about the need of mental health because without mental health, we cannot promote well-being, we cannot promote others, we cannot promote equitable access to care, and sometimes we cannot even stay with happiness because we have some social determinants like poverty, safety, improving early intervention for children, strengthening the workforce, reducing stigmas, and integrating mental health into a policy. So when you look at all these determinants, they all form some kind of barrier for us to implement policies if we don't do away with these determinants. So how to address them? We are going to address them based on social determinants. One way to address the social determinants is by improving access to equitable education, stable housing, security employment, reducing risk factors such as chronic stresses, inequitable and violences. We can do this with purely education. We cannot do this without education. And then before we can educate, the population should be aware. Now, where are the people going there for education? Here, I want us to look at the health institutions in the communities. When you look at most of the hospitals in Ghana, you can see that, in fact, the major hospital, they don't even have psychiatric attached to it. They have separated the psychiatric hospital or the mental health hospitals outside the hospital. And then it is socially stigmatized. So anybody who goes there and come back is stigmatized as the word they call Obadamfo. So when they hear that your name is Obadamfo, it means that the society, you are probably not part of it. But I think that is not the issue. These things are things that we have to look into it and then make sure that we don't stigmatize anybody who go for mental treatment and come back with that name about them, or the person is mad. Another way to look at how to prevent mental health is the prevention of services in early ages. When you are very young, or when you are born early, they have to make sure that you don't carry along with certain things that could be prevented. So children at school should be examined, even when you are taking your baby to kindergarten, or sometimes when the child is born. All the tests should be done to make sure that he's mentally sound. And those who are not mentally sound, they have to go for medical treatment. There are certain treatments that can stop the mental development. Others do, you have to go to therapy, and you go on the therapy for several times. That can sometimes be healed. At another time, it can't be healed, but it can be suppressed or reduced. Another way to think about it is to have access to care. But back at home, there's a problem that we have. Somebody in a rural community with any mental illnesses may not have access to healthcare. Even if he has access to healthcare, they don't have the specialty in the health institutions. So when they go there, they just give them some kind of treatment and they come back home. No monitoring. And when they come home, parents will not even take the child or the person back to the hospital anymore because of financial issues. So here is a very important thing that the whole country, the whole family, the whole health institutions should find a very better way to organize the mental health system very well, in order to be able to help the community to work on the control of the mental health system. I mentioned about access to healthcare. The access to healthcare is not only the institution itself, but the distance to the place is one, the cost of going to the place is two, and the three, even the transportation to that place is another thing. So when you bring all these things together, if I have a child who is not showing any kind of sickness that will bother me, and she's just a mental trouble, I will just leave the person at home and go to my farm. I won't even care about it. But here, when we wait until the child grows, and then he becomes a little bit older, and you want to go and resolve this issue, it becomes very difficult, a difficult time to get it controlled or healed. So the advice that the CDC is giving is that children of that nature should be sent to the health institution as early as possible. So here, the government should actually make some provisions, or the local council areas should have to try to make some provisions that will help them, those victims, to come to the health institutions for medical care. Another thing that we are seeing is that, you see, when you talk about mental illness, it has something to do with the workforce, the stress that happens in the work area. You can mention as much as you can. You can go to work and you will not be paid for almost about 3 or 4 months. So it becomes very stressful. Stress can lead to hypertension. Stress can lead to violence, and stress can affect your mental, so you become disorganized. If you become disorganized, production reduces because you can't work. And then it becomes very expensive because you can't get money to buy anything to do. The next thing is either you go to steal or you do something that is unusual to get something to eat. So mental health is very important in this line. For we expect every person who is working to receive some kind of money to cater for himself. On the other hand, we also need people who do the counseling or the advice or the therapies. So we should know that the nurses that are trained in our institutions should also have some kind of special training in mental health care. In addition to the doctors should also be trained in diagnosis of mental health. And then this should be incorporated in every hospital and every health post,
clinical health,
every clinical institutions. So when people are very stressful, they can go there for advice or for therapy.
Counseling.
Or counseling. So when they get it, then they can reduce the stress. And if you reduce the stress, you reduce a lot of mental issues.
Multiple factors, yeah.
Yeah. So the person can go home soundly or can stay in the community soundly. Other than that, when he has stress from the work, he goes to work. He has worked harder, and at the end of the day, he's not getting his pay. So you look at it. And then when you are not paying them, your rent is swollen. They will tell you to move away from the house because you are not paying. Because he did the work, he did not get paid. The tenant is removing him from his house. So you can imagine that kind of stress that the person is going to go in. So sometimes this kind of stressfulness are motivated by the employers. So the employers should also be very careful that they can also help to reduce stresses at work so that people who are working there will get paid and then pay their rent so they can stay in their homes peacefully. There's a system of parity here. Some of the people in this country, Ghana, are not getting equitable healthcare system. I've already mentioned that healthcare system is very important for the diagnosis of mental health. But if the healthcare distribution is inequitable, what I mean here is that most people in their rural areas do not even have access to healthcare at all.
That's true.
So you can imagine a child with, let's say, a newborn child who has a mental problem, that parents cannot diagnose it and they cannot do anything about it, but this family has no place to send the child to, or they have no money, or sometimes the road accessibility is also very difficult. I will mention an area that I visited when I came home. I was in Bairabon area, and the only transport communication was the two motor bicycles.
Not even Aboboya.
Not even Aboboya, because the Aboboya cannot even ride on that road.
Wow. So
you can imagine if a child has a mental problem in, let's say, Bairabon number 7, which is about 8 miles from the road, and there's no accessibility to the hospital, or there's no close health institution over there, it's going to be very difficult for the child born there to be carried to the nearest hospital for treatment. So what they normally do, they leave a child to die. But it could also be possible that if the child has something, it might not be something that is so serious that the child is going to be deformed. No. When they bring the child to the hospital for treatment, the child issue could be resolved and the child can come back home. And then they will just give him breastfeeding until the child grows old. But this is not done in our system because, one, parents are not aware, two, no accessibility to the hospitals, and three, financial problem is also another issue. So you see that the inequitable healthcare distribution in the community affects mental health so much.
But can the inequitability be fixed? Is there something the government can do to fix that situation?
Yeah, I learned the government is now doing what they call the primary health care system, and it is only for clinical issues, not mental. So when they go there with only I think the nurse and some attendants. I wish they can include mental evaluation to everything that they are doing the local level in order to get data for the mental health people or those people with mental health in the community and follow up with them. But I don't think it has something to do with that mental health.
All right, Doc, we have only about 5 minutes for you to roll away. I know you're a very busy man. So somebody put up a question. Are there any genetic factors? I think you mentioned a bit of it. Are children born with traits of mental illness? I mean, some baby just comes into the world and by no fault of theirs, they just have mental issues. Could it be from smoking of marijuana or other chemicals from the mother? And so it's just transmitted through the bloodstream to these infants and feeders or embryos?
Yeah, the problem with biological transmission, which means biological transmission of the disease from parents to children, is a little bit agreeable because even during birth itself has something to do with the mental health. And then the kind of chemicals that parents use whilst pregnant is also a factor to it.
Okay.
So we can say that if you are, and then studies have also shown that if you depend on this, what you call the harsh drugs, it has a mental effect with a baby. And I think there was one study that took place in Germany, early 40s, about the Taramol, I've forgotten the name of the medicine. When the mother was on it, they gave it to mothers, and when they all gave birth, some of them had their hand up, amputated, some of them had their legs or cut off. So some of the medicine that they take during pregnancy is very important to the health of the child. So that one I can for sure tell you that is true. But the genetic, there could also be a genetic which is still they are still working on it. So when we get any resolution for that one too, I'll probably be able to tell you. But for now, I'm not sure if it is it's transmitted through genetics.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I think we don't have too much time, but before we leave.
But let me just add this thing to it. There are certain chromosomes that can also lead to trisomes, what you call it, the 23 chromosomes plus one can also cause a kind of deformities that affect the mental health. So this is the kind of illness that back at home they call it in Sioba. The child is born with very big eyes and we have some kind of saliva draining from his mouth.
Wow.
All these things come in, and then here they have a very strict class for them. They teach them what to do and other things. But back at home, the child will be left in the village there until sometimes something happened to the child and he dies. So I would say that it has some kind of chromosomal factors that we are all aware about that.
Oh, okay, I think we'll be able to go further into that, the brain chemistry or early life trauma, all that mental illness, but because of time. But before we do, I want to play this clip that our CEO is helping to bring light at the end of the tunnel to some parts of Ghana. A very creative, innovative work that he's doing. I mean, like I said, he will be here. He was supposed to be in the studio with us tonight, but due to some engagement, he will be here next week. But then let's watch this clip, and then we'll come back and wrap up before Buck leaves the studio. All right, stay.
Every child deserves the chance to grow up healthy. In Ghana, many vulnerable children and families struggle to afford basic health insurance. That means sickness can quickly become a crisis. Diaspora Works and Relief Agency, also known as DWRA, is helping change that. Working with Ghana's National Health Insurance Scheme, DWRA helps provide free health insurance access for children in need and supports communities through real outreach on the ground. Your donation can help protect a child's health, restore hope to families, and expand this life-changing work. To give today, call 559-767-1593, email dwrac@gmail.com, send Cash App to $DRAF, or send Zelle to DRAF. Donate today and help protect a child's health and future. Diaspora Works and Relief Agency. Compassion in Action.
All right, so that's the clip. We'll be having more discussion on that in subsequent weeks. But as I said, Doc has to leave. So, Doc, well, maybe your closing remarks and we'll call it a night.
So let's look at the target area. Only there's 3 target areas that we can use to reduce this kind of mental health. One is the workplace health. We have to create a supportive work environment that offers training to identify and manage stresses. That's one of them. The second one is the youth and adolescents. Early intervention in schools is crucial to reversing trends and depression and suicide from the schools. And then the third one is reducing stigmas, raising awareness to encourage people to seek help, and fostering the open communication. So all these 3 come together will help us to identify the mental health issues and then work on it faster. Without that, we cannot resolve it, because when people are very, 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 shy to tell what they have, it is very difficult to go there and tell the person that you have a mental health. And so you need to go for treatment. Yeah, so that is the only 3 things I would say about it. Other than that, we will have to postpone it, and next time when we come, we'll touch them one after the other. Mental health is very important. The government should consider it, because when you see all the people running up and down, not all of them are good, though. Even those who steal, some of them, maybe it's not from their real sense that they are thieves. There's something trigger them to do that. Those who kill, no, it doesn't come from their minds. Something trigger them to do that. So we have to work to meet the needs of this community and help them to know their environment and let them do what is right before them. So I think I will end here, and I would like Dr. Boyson to provide his communicative issues.
All right, thank you very much, Doc. It's here for you, Yaka, Jimo Yari, Dr. Penny, Dr. Pokwa Jimedia, near Ma, Sisi, and I say, Ma, Jumu Yari, Banana, make be to say, Ghana, Ubia, with me, Yari, Ubio Nam Hubia, Ubuhana, and a panichop mundo you with you and endorse in Choko, Mumio Casacasa, and say, Jumi, but be an NSC be at so be on wash it and pion and Ajuna Bafra, and to be our level of mental illness, a bit the dos said. Intuition as officer Bia, why you mukaka crab? Now, welcome Yasho, because a progression as a dimudimsa no question, this is our effect. So, the business stress, because you might focus the entire for about 3 months, and no crime will teach me boom. Obi bisa aseme nye bufuku na obu efu, because nyeme bubobo ti remember e course that nyanti. Please who notice bibia say onyeme bi nko ye a kone enhwew na ye doc ka say pi no so gina me aban betumi aye amanfo nkofo pi person motena main city Accra, Kumasi, Cape Coast near no bi ampeso betena Kurasi, but sa health clinics see to me see bi on Kurasi nya nyo obia empress say me bank answer me who doctor ehọ na obi betumi ahwew se na be ya oyare no em progress enko achi nti yimre ya no ni discussion ya kakra na next week nyame ya adoma ye besa enemo abem se doc obi ka
yeah asa ba ko bi am ire fi manka ba ko aware ene nkwala titie.
Okay,
it's one of the issue, marriage and childcare. Those who have children and they don't have husband have more stress. And those who are married with issues in their marriage have also stress. And these are some of the things that can also lead to mental stress that can cause mental sickness. Thank you.
Thank you. And the stress is not Dr. Kaino. Ubia with the problem. Omo ma worry omundi ba e was stress. Omo ma worry e womba e man so stress yom. Omo ma worry omundi ska stress wom. And almost so money kunu no money yem so stress baby a stress war. And no answer so we share stress level no. Now person will be to mitigate. Nyame ya adoma Thank you very much, Doc. God will meet again next week and we'll go over more issues. Until then, have a blessed evening, and again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, including my wife, including Dr. Pukwa, my wife, who's a mother, and all the mothers. We wish all of you.
And also Dr. Boyson's wife too.
Thank you very much. These women do a lot, because I remember when we were raising our little children, if you leave us with the babies for 1 hour, we are stressed, because the thing the mothers do, we can't do. Apart from the fact that we don't have breast to give, even when they give us a breast milk to give them, these children are still complaining. So, mothers, we doff our hearts to you. Thank you very much, and may your day be smooth and blissful and purposeful tomorrow, in Jesus' name. All right, Doc, I'll see you again. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Sampadia Chimafidi non kotu era one radio Samupe Jumpadia Chimafidi non kotu era one radio and Yumpankuma Asampankuma era one
They are four women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real in common getting. In common BISS chain, the dead, as in Takrenu assume the dead, the real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and on Taibo channel. Kaise, so we see the real in common getting what brabon tete, we nyan konkonsa, we the real in common getting.